So here's the thing about that. So I know Davey is definitely locked through his calves. He's tight, but that's also the trampoline creates that movement too. So you're probably going to find the other area Braxton would not like you massaging would be his calves, because they're pretty locked up. So if he's a 3-3-3 leg bilateral, that would actually encourage the locking of the rib cage. That would encourage the driving from the ground up. So anything that stimulates ground up will be good for them, because down is not good. Remember that the opposite shoulder becomes unstable. When they're young, it's not a big deal. So the shoulder learns to move around, very cunningly around a rib cage that doesn't move. But here's what's really important, and this is the rambling. So the calves are linked energetically to the adrenals. The adrenals obviously are your adrenaline, your cortisols, all of that. If you are in a case of chronic stress, chronic stimulus, you've got an overwhelmed system, almost a burnt out, hypersensitive system. Imagine that happens before you're even born, that for some reason during pregnancy, there's enough stimulus that your adrenals are firing off all the time. And it's never a judgment on a parent, by the way. And that could be toxic environment or stressful things going, whatever. And that creates a setup. Now imagine, as you noticed, there's a vaccine that comes in. So here's a pattern. It's a functioning pattern. It's a good pattern. But there's a stimulus that comes in, which is the vaccine, that then over triggers that system. Which is why, so we're probably seeing an advanced, like a really locked in pattern of a 3-3-3 leg bilateral. So for example, Parkinson's are mostly jaw drivers, bilaterally. And with enough stimulus and drive, you end up in this pattern that has this overall, it makes it difficult to move, it becomes fearful. If I lock this down enough, you can see how quickly my eyes get into weird patterns. Well, they get like dead eyes, because the eyes actually are now trying to help fixate the body and make it safe. So it's a 3-3-3 leg. So it's almost like an adrenal fatigue that leaves the system hypersensitive. And the problem is that adrenaline, cortisol, is also a toxin when it's not cleared out the system. We clear it out through movement. That's why they need to move and feel better moving, and the jumping probably moves it better. It also feeds up through the feet. So it kind of meets almost their psoas and their glute, their zone 1 in their legs. That's their zone 1. That's all they know. So in the compensation for locking at the bottom there's always a thoracic compensation. So like, if my calves are so tight that, for example, let's say my ankles, when my knee is fully straight, are -5. And by the way, the worst we've seen is -15. And people can still stand with massive adaptations. So how you do that is you hyperextend your knees backwards. You then, to unlock the pressure that shoots through your back, is you now tilt your pelvis. So now you're going to look really weird, because you're almost like sticking your butt out. And so what people will then do is they'll curl over, which then addresses the pelvic position, and now they're locked in. So it's a whole sequence of things that go. But I almost feel like the Braxton and Davey are almost not having those compensations. So they're stuck in a tight pattern, but so it's almost like the rigidity has gone from below the knees through the thoracic, and the pelvis is kind of stuck in neutrally something, but it's still stuck. So the simple thing here is that, again, there are 100 things we can do, but But if we say, well, Dad, do some wrestling. Don't do wrestling to make sure that his thoracic is moving. Do wrestling because you want to and because it's fun, and know in the back of your mind that it's really good for both of you. For both of you.
Mm-hmm.
But the thoracic is starting to move. The rib cage is starting to move. You know, maybe the wrestling, that when you get him in a lock, you don't quickly release that lock. You know, if it's a lock that has a little bit of a twist in it,
Right.
don't try and do that,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
usually how the locks work. You end up going, ah, and then we go, ah, and imagine like you just held it a little longer. You know, let him resist it. So actually, he's got to actively twist against you, but you're not going to move. But don't do it to the point where you piss him off, because then one day when he's bigger, he's just going to beat the shit out of it.
What's interesting is, we have this couch and he likes going behind the cushion, but when he slides down there on his back and he's kind of stuck and he hates it. Oh my gosh, the fury, right? Just to have to twist and come up out of it. It's the worst. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's noticeable, where I'm like, oh, I wonder why he has such a problem with, he likes going behind the cushion, but if he's upside down and has to roll over to come out of it, it is not pretty.
Excellent. But can you see, like, I'm giving you information and you're starting to see that you've seen stuff that has no meaning until we start to bring like a different way of looking. And you go, oh, well, actually, I've seen this. Andy does that. And he does, oh, yeah. So it's almost like when we do the 1, 2, 3 testing with the client, and you go, this is what your body's doing. They go, oh, is this why I'm doing this? But I also do that. It's that same idea. So the idea is that we try and make sense of the puzzle. We take pieces of information. We say, what do you think of this? And you're going, well, I've seen that. Excellent. Before you just go, hey, that's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Now you actually go, all right. So there's actually something to us. If we were ever given a manual to interpret the body and kids and people, geez, that would be a huge manual, and we'd never be. But everything is information. But we're not going to go looking at what else can I see. It's like, hey, this is the thought. This is where it's locking. We need to find good strategies to get movement, to get rotation in that. So the thing is, and so this is where I'm going to like just give you little tidbits, little carrots. We're going to have to get him rotating voluntarily and with a system that accounts for the fact that he's going to use his arms a lot to compensate. So he's got great movement in his arms at the moment. And we want to make sure that what we do, no matter how much he uses arms, still creates a turn through the thoracic. But don't fear, Uncle Doug has come up with a strategy.
Now, what about the calves, right? You had mentioned, is there a strategy there, or is that?
I would say not at this point, because remember that if we look at the thoracic, or we look at the whole rib cage at the back, if you go right at the top of the thoracic, you've got your neck stuff. Then you've got your abdominals. So I'm just going to draw 4 circles. I'll draw them in a nice color. I'm going to make pretty pictures. So, oh, that's really pretty. Yellow becomes green. So notice the 4 zones. Top one is neck. Second one is abdominals. Third one is the lats. And the bottom one is the calves, right in the zone. So if we can get that moving, it will already start to influence the reflex areas, which will influence the calves. If we start chasing the calves, I don't think we're going to get it, because this area has to move effectively in order to allow all that lymphatic drainage to happen, allow the sympathetic trunk to move freely, allow the autonomic system to drop into a deeper parasympathetic state. You know, all of those things. So if we can get this moving, in a fun way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting.
But
I do notice I do
why it's
notice a
exciting for me?
posture like the pinching of the shoulder blades like constantly, right? Um, that's like it seems like it all the time, and it's like I don't know if what you're saying that the twisting and that sort of thing should relax that whole situation,
No,
right?
no, no. You see, you're much too much looking at when I do this, what will it do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, no. When you do this, his spine will move a little bit better. That's what'll happen. The rest you'll observe. We don't know.
Gotcha.
But that shoulder blades together exactly like Davey. It's an exact thing, which is why he actually doesn't want you pressing on his back because he's already locked in
It's
extension.
already up. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like I do stuff with Matt that he's got me doing from the front where we actually manipulate his thoracic through the front. It was his plan, his idea, he wanted it, and it works for him. He tried it with me. It kind of doesn't move anything because I'm solid through there. But it's an interesting thing. So I think you're going to play with a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah.
You're gonna see if you can chill out a bit and chillax and see if you can like not reduce, I don't know, but all your interventions. How can you do it more gently and easily on all of you?
Right. Yep.
And bring some fun into it. How to go, this is a good puzzle to solve. It is a good puzzle to solve. And you can do it together.
Yeah.
You're not
Well,
Napoleon,
the entire system needs de-stressed, right? Or it's just
it starts with telling your wife that you were wrong.
That Doug said you were wrong.
Doug said, yeah.
Dude, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, because and the minute you're ready, I'll share this with you, and it'll make a difference. I wasn't sure to start with, but I know it will. And the thing is that imagine that you guys are the guinea pigs, because you're not the only autistic family in the world.
That's right.
And imagine we could create a fun game that really had an effect.
Well, like you said, we know this works, right? We don't know why, but we haven't even been able to take it a step further. We don't even need to know why, but it's like, what else? What are we missing? Because I think that there's additional things, like even the stuff we just went over, right? With this is a one step. It's not a massive step beyond what we know, but it's one thing that we can add that's fun, easy. It doesn't add any stress to the situation. In fact, it makes it better and fun and more practical. So this is cool.
Yeah, and so the thing is, like, I think like one of my weird things at the moment is like I'm wondering why I'm not sitting going, not selling anything at the moment. Things are good, finances are going down. Why am I not stressed? Well, I'm not stressed. I don't even care. Actually, I do, but I don't. But I'm happier when we're having these conversations, because all I can think is, what if we can add value? What happens if this makes a difference? Adds 10% of difference to whatever that means to the way you guys do life and what he experiences and how he integrates. That would be amazing. How do we get it out? In the easiest, listen to this, the easiest, the cheapest, and most effective way for them, for everybody. Not as a, hey, here's a way to make money. I actually don't care. And like, it'll happen. But it's like, I just remember having like playing for 2 or 3 hours with Davey, and it's long ago now. And Kathy had said to me, I'd said, look, do you mind if I do? She said, cool. I said, sometimes he might not like it. She goes, no, I trust you. Just you go, you play. He loves you. You love him. And we played. And her husband, Terry, his folks were there. And his dad is like a hard-assed Afrikaner But when I was leaving, he came and he gave me a hug. It was very awkward, and thank you, it was beautiful. And so when Terry was taking me to the station, I said, Terry, that was really awkward. I just want you to know. He said, what was awkward? I said, your dad hugged me and thanked me because he was watching me and Davey playing. And he stopped the car. And he said, my dad did what? I said, he hugged me. Because he goes, my dad's never hugged me. So here's a guy who doesn't connect, still could observe something happening. And what it was is we were playing. And the coolest thing is that Kathy, when I'd got back to South Africa, just said, Dave, you're so different, whatever you did. And I said, hey, me too. I'm also so different because of what we did together. And it really was. So together. So it's like, don't think that when you are wrestling and playing with Braxton, it's just for him. It's not. It's like, if you are not getting something from that, then you shouldn't be doing it. It's not about him. It's about the two of you together wrestling for fun, wrestling with the puzzle, but you're both doing it and you're both getting rewarded with it. Because when it goes wrong, you both suffer with it.
That's right. That's right. Interesting. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to doing this.
Cool.
But like you said, it's you know, what's right in my story and what's right in his story are two different things. And I don't need to mold him into something that he doesn't need to be, because that's not what I want either. So kind of, I mean, that's definitely what's happening now, but that has to change. So that's good. And I wasn't aware of it. No one likes getting called out on that kind of stuff.
But the thing is but there's no value when you're not. And it is about being called out in a way that you know it's done with the highest intent.
That's right. Well, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the thing is, like, how much more fun and how much more connected everything happens when you can start putting down the we have to do this and we should do that. There's no have to, you know. And this is like, so when I went to train Tasha, who's the pro surfer, so her dad was telling me about all the like challenges with the travel and the vaccines, and so he's sitting at the dinner table, I'm kind of sitting like almost on the other side of the dinner table, so we're social distancing, and she's sitting in the kitchen, but she looks stressed and miserable, and yeah, she's also was up in Durban where the riots were, so she got caught. Nothing bad happened, but just being in that environment where it potentially can. And it's kind of one of the things that I said to her as we started. So we started chatting about, and it's so difficult. I said, whoa, you need to stop here. Let me just tell you something. You chose this path. And she goes, yeah. I said, no, you're not hearing me. When there's a stress, when there's a challenge, you chose this path. You could have chosen not to be a pro surfer, not to want to be in America and France and Portugal. You could have chosen to go sit in your garage and stare at the wall, but you didn't. You chose to do this. So when you're faced with challenges, own them, accept them. And I promise you, they're not so big because you chose this. You're worried about uncertainty. Uncertainty is I chose to, like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. If I chose to be here, that's enough certainty for me. Then and it was amazing how that started the session much better, and everything else we did was much better. Everything here, there's nothing you friggin' have to do. You, your wife, your boy, nothing. Everything you do, you choose. Immediately, you're more empowered.
That's the point of certainty. Very nice.
We choose to do this. We choose not to do that. And can you actually feel how your body is like reintegrating right there? It's almost like you can almost feel yourself like coming back into your body?
Well, in fact, I actually feel like I can identify the point where I was I stopped expanding and I started contracting and contracting and contracting, right? It's like I like knowing what I know after this conversation, and then kind of sourcing it all the way back to this state that I put myself in, these choices I put myself in. And
Well, actually, the lack of choices. It was lack of choice because we have to. We should do this. We have to do that. That's not choice. Have to has no power in it. Choose to, totally different game.
Totally
so when we
different,
change our
right.
language, we change everything immediately.
That's right. But it's now it's like I feel like, okay, I'm choosing to do it a different way, right? And it's as opposed to like we have to do this way. There was no
In fact, you need a swear jar.
Yeah,
But your
a
swear
have
jar
to
says
jar.
have to. And you have one at work, which is going to get very full very quick. So make sure it's a big jar.
Yeah.
And you have one at home, which is even bigger.
Oh man. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boy,
But that's true. But like this has been the choose to is yeah, it's there's freedom with it, man. It's it feels a whole lot better.
yeah. And can you imagine choosing to when you know where your glutes are? Jeez. Endless possibilities, bro.
This is the no touch activation I hear you talk about, level 97.
Jeez. Ooh.
Nicely done.
You got quite far down the rabbit hole.
But you know what's the best part about the rabbit hole?
Yeah,
I
that the
found the
moles
lights.
dug it.
I found the light. I found the light. I
There's a
found the
light
light
switch.
There's a light switch in here.
Yeah, nobody told me, damn it.
No one told me. No one told me. Yeah, I thought I was stuck in here.
Yeah.
Now I can't. Now I can stay in here.
Yeah.
Awesome,
and when the light's
man.
on, you also know where the front door is. You actually came in through the window.
That's right. Right. That balance stuff too is huge. Where the balance is not running away from it. Balancing is allow you to go deeper into it.
Yeah, knowing that you can come out allows you to go in.
Yep. Yep.
That's the whole principle about creating spaces that are safe. When someone feels safe, they can then go to places that are unsafe. When they are not safe, they can't go to a place that's unsafe because they're already unsafe. Why would I just add more? So therefore, whatever you do to someone who's already unsafe is traumatic.
Yes. Yes. Period. Yeah.
Oof.
That was good, man.
Good. So give yourself 4 or 5 minutes just to let it drop, let it integrate, and then right on a call to your wife and get on your knees, buddy.
She like when I always I usually I say I just got off a call with Doug, and she always likes the result. But like, oh well, I told you that. I told you that.
Of course.
Yeah. I've been telling you that. Yeah.
Excellent. I like her even more.
Yeah, I know. All right, let me
you do know that every time we agree to meet, she's already sent me the script that I have to read from.
Exactly.
She's great.
Yeah. I'll stop the recording here.